Wednesday morning, let's rise and shine. Separate your bed from your behind. Tell the stranger sleeping next to you to get the hell out, you've got things to do. Wednesday morning, the week's half done. Try to sober up, it's time to run. There's only 3 days left working from 9 to 5. Then it's party time. Party time. Just a little more work to do. Let's get on up and get the damn thing through. Then we'll get back to numbing our minds.
Hump Day is here. It's finally here. It looks like it might rain. It's very cloudy and gray in La Crosse.
I don't think it's in the forecast, though.
But we do have clouds in the forecast with a high of 85. Boy, it was definitely steamy when I was mowing the lawn yesterday. I thought I was going to escape, but, because it was so warm on Monday. But yesterday was pretty warm, too. And got it done, though. Got it done. And we had a brief, couple of drops of rain late in the evening or early in the evening. And then
More than that.
looks like showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Friday. And that'll cool things off drastically. And could be severe as well. We're looking at some heavy winds and rain on Thursday night into Friday. So
Yeah, the track meet was called last night for lightning.
Really?
Yeah, I was
All right.
it's near the end of it anyway, but all of a sudden it was over because of lightning in the area. But we've got that summer-like warmth continuing, lingering with a risk of some storms tomorrow, as Brian said. But today, some fog in the Chippewa Valley this morning. Otherwise, we're looking at about mid-80s. A very slight chance we'll get wet today. Tomorrow, very likely, though.
Yeah, especially in the afternoon and into the evening and overnight tomorrow night. Looks like, again, some severe storms possible in the area. It's Workforce Wednesday. You know what that means. You got to go to rockmornings.com and sign up to win freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shop in Preston. Let us know where you're working.
Please do.
Lots of other stuff to get
Like
to
to hear
today.
from you.
Bad news, happy music. We'll get to our check-ins. Going to talk about some red flags and some other stuff. And, of course, if you need anything, find our contact info online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. The Menendez brothers resentenced and now could get out of jail.
What you thought was going to be happening with everything that's been going on the last couple of years with this case,
They've obviously filed a lot of appeals and motions and all that stuff over the years, but with the popularity of the case getting kind of new life breathed into it because of the Netflix series and the interviews that they've done recently, a judge now resentencing the Menendez brothers to 50 years to life in prison, which makes them eligible to go before a parole board. The state parole board would need to reconsider the case and issue a ruling on whether to release the brothers from prison. Hearings on the resentencing motion in the case were held yesterday in Van Noy. Attorneys for the Menendez brothers arguing that they have been rehabilitated after serving more than 30 years of a life prison sentence for the August 1989 murders of their parents in Beverly Hills. Defense attorney Mark Garagos called several witnesses to testify in support of the brothers, starting with their cousin, and we'll see. Parole board and maybe getting out of jail.
Well, what do they basically say now that they were sexually abused by their dad for years while their mom enabled the behavior.
Right. And if you watch the series, that was kind of the story of the series, was that he was a abusive and kind of predatory father, and they not that they weren't,
not that they didn't murder them, because they did,
or do lots of, and this is the retelling of it in the series on Netflix. So some of it's probably real and some of it's fictionalized, but not that they didn't do stuff that was criminal afterwards anyways. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Along with the killing of the parents. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, a federal grand jury indicting that Wisconsin Circuit Court judge yesterday who was arrested last month for shielding an illegal immigrant from federal agents. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan arrested, charged with obstruction of an official proceeding on April 25th after evidence became known that she had shielded an illegal immigrant from federal agents. She was also charged with concealing an individual to prevent discovery and arrest. Dugan, indicted by the federal grand jury after listening to the testimony regarding charges that she allegedly tried to help that illegal alien escape arrest in her courtroom. The federal jury convened to consider the indictment, hearing testimony, yada, yada, yada. But she's been indicted, and now we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay.
But she's also been, suspended, and there's like a, judge filling in for her. And Apple, did you have a Siri back in 2014? I know it was 11 years ago, but if you did, you might be due for some money.
No, I don't think so.
Shocking to find out that Apple devices and Siris and AI and all that stuff is spying on you. But if you owned an Apple device since 2014, you might be eligible for part of a $95 million class action lawsuit.
I don't even know. Maybe, but how would you? You get receipts and a paper trail.
Go back through your Christmas photos and see when you got one.
No, I'm not going to do that.
The lawsuit accusing Apple and their voice assistant Siri of spying on users. Initial lawsuit was filed in 2021 in federal court. Users said their private conversations were being recorded by their devices after Siri was unintentionally activated. The settlement was agreed upon. The company has still denied the allegations. And obviously, if you want to find out more, you can Google this to see if you're due. But much like class action lawsuits, most of the money's going to the lawyers, and you might get $6.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the free tuna fish cans.
Not worth my time.
So, $95 million, though. 75-year-old Manitowoc County man has been indicted on multiple federal charges related to crimes against minors. Unsealed indictment alleges that Michael J. Cornley of Francis Creek transported 2 different minors across state lines with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity in 05 and 06. So these are from about 20 years ago. Additionally, he is accused of using a computer in March of 2024 to attempt to persuade, induce, and entice a minor to engage in unlawful sexual content. If convicted on any of those 3 charges, this guy faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison to up to life in prison behind bars. He could also be fined $250,000 and would be required to register that as a sex offender under both federal and state law. But, yeah, 75-year-old Manitowoc man now in big trouble for that. Madison woman in custody last night after police in Sun Prairie say that she shot at another person over an argument on social media. She FAFO'd. She played stupid games and found out. She kept it real and it went wrong. Yeah. 23-year-old woman and another person got into an argument on Tuesday on social media. The woman then drove over to the other person's home, and the argument continued. At one point, the woman fired a shot. Nobody was hit. No property was damaged. The woman left the area but was stopped by the Dane County Sheriff's Office in Madison, admitted to firing the shot. Police recovered a stolen 9mm handgun. She was booked into the Dane County Jail, facing tentative charges of first-degree reckless endangering, possession of a firearm by an adjudicated delinquent, and receiving a stolen firearm. Ugh. What are we doing?
I don't know. What is she doing? I mean,
what do you care?
Things can be upsetting. Stuff can make you mad.
Totally. Totally. I get that. But what is so maddening on Facebook?
Well, everything can be comments and people saying, I mean, I understand that back and forth, but you had to know this person obviously personally because you knew where they lived.
Yeah.
Not like some stranger on the internet that makes you angry.
I mean, maybe they made a negative comment about their daughter or something. I don't know.
Personal attack of some sort, but still.
Sad news as one of the stars of Happy Gilmore has now passed away. The beloved film starring Adam Sandler. It wasn't Adam Sandler.
Well, yeah.
It was.
I probably
it was
know
the
that
alligator.
already.
It was the alligator.
The alligator?
Yeah, his name is Morris, and he was an alligator. He played the alligator who bit off Chubbs Peterson's hands and was later killed and beheaded by Happy. Morris, very long career in Hollywood, spanning from 1975 to 2006.
Whoa, that guy. Look at that alligator go. His
films included the cult horror classic Alligator way back in 1980, which is actually, if you like really crappy horror movies, it was a good one.
Pretty good.
1994's Interview with a Vampire and Dr. Dolittle 2 back in 2001 spent his twilight years at a place called the Colorado Gator Farm.
Aww.
They plan to have him stuffed so he can scare small children for many years to come. That's what they say that's what he would have wanted.
It's his jam.
So yeah, Morris the alligator from the Happy Gilmore film passing away.
Was resting comfortably.
Estimated to be 80 years old.
I know,
could have been as old as 100. They're not sure, but yeah. Friggin' dinosaur over there living to be 100 years old. And Ziploc, speaking of lawsuits, they're getting sued, a class action lawsuit, over their microwave safe claims. I don't microwave anything in a plastic bag. I mean, I have,
Me either.
Plastic containers, Tupperware, things like that. But sometimes after we eat pizza, we'll put it in a plastic bag as opposed to wrapping it in tinfoil or whatever.
Yeah. But you're still not putting that in.
I'm not putting the bag in there. I'm taking it out of the bag, put it on a plate, or maybe putting it in the oven. But a class action lawsuit now is accusing Ziploc's parent company of misleading customers by labeling the bags as
microwave safe or something?
Microwave safe and freezer friendly. The bags may shed microplastics exposed to extreme temperatures, which can pose health risks.
I'm sure.
Which is what they say. Don't microwave anything on plastic because there's, the idea is that while the bags can be put in the freezer or into a microwave, they're not safe under those circumstances, and the risks were not conveyed to consumers. The case is ongoing, unclear if or how
They're
it'll be
safe for
settled.
freezers, though, right? Because I use them all the time for that.
Yeah, I put my ham in there.
All the things go in the bags in the freezer, so they're safe for that, just not the microwaving.
I think, yeah. But they're facing a class action lawsuit for the Ziploc bags. Sports coming up in just a few minutes. RockMornings.com. Head there and sign up for Workforce Wednesday. Your chance to win freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shop in Preston. We've got some pumpkins in just a couple minutes. Right now, 3 Days Grace.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Brew Crew last night, another loss to the Guardians.
And the Brewers' last hope is Christian Yelich, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Book it. Wasse nails it down. The Guardians have won the first 2.
Yeah, 2-0 loss to the Guardians yesterday. Their second loss in a row. Their fifth out of their last 6 games. Final game of that 3-game series in Cleveland today at 12:10. NBA last night.
What happened?
The Indiana Pacers. This was surging, ascending franchise. Has punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals for a second straight year.
Yeah, they beat the Cavs last night, 114-105. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they'll play the winner of the Knicks-Celtics series. And in the late game last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Denver Nuggets 112-105. They take a 3-2 series lead there.
That's a closer series, huh?
Yeah, tonight in the NBA, the Knicks-Celtics 3-1. The Knicks are in Boston to take on the Celtics without Jason Tatum. That game at 6 p.m. on TNT. It's a must-win or go home for Boston, or stay home, I should say. That game will be followed by Golden State at Minnesota at 8:30 on TNT. That's game 5 of that series. The T-Wolves are also up 3-1, so elimination game for the Warriors. Speaking of Jason Tatum, he underwent successful surgery yesterday on a ruptured right Achilles tendon after suffering the injury late in the fourth quarter. Team said the surgery was a success and that no timeline was available for his return, but usually those are 8 to 10 months.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Yeah. I mean, he's young. He's in the best shape of his life. He's got, a team of experts around him. So if anybody's got a chance to come back and have, it's
all the tech and all the available medical
unlike
care.
Unlike me and you are just gimping around, it's like
cryo chambers and
all that.
Space suits. And
in the NHL last night,
Perfetti onto the wing. Ehlers up with it. Ehlers to Morrissey, and the Stars will put the President's Trophy winners on the ring.
Dallas took a commanding 3-1 series lead on the Winnipeg Jets thanks to a 3-1 win. That was the only game in the NHL last night. But tonight, 2 more games. Florida at Toronto, 6 p.m. on ESPN. That's game 5 of that series, which is tied up at 2 apiece. And then you've got Edmonton at Vegas, 8:30 on ESPN, game 5. Oilers up 3-1, looking to close it out and send Vegas packing. Also in the NHL, they have suspended. The league has suspended a Florida Panthers minority owner. Don't hear about that too often.
For
a guy named Doug Cifu, C-I-F-U. They have suspended him from any involvement with the team or the league after a series of offensive social media posts on Sunday night. This guy is now going to have an in-person meeting with the commissioner, Gary Bettman, at some later date. The offending messages were from a back and forth with a fan of the Maple Leafs.
So he's getting a tit for tat with a
Panthers and Maple Leafs are playing each other, and some fan
is trying to goat him a little bit.
Gets his goat, and the guy, he falls for it. It started as a back and forth, about the playoffs, and then it veered into statements about the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, as well as a reference to Canada becoming the 51st state, which obviously Trump has mentioned in the past. I don't know exactly what was said, so I don't know how any of that's offensive. I don't know what it has to do with hockey.
That's ding, ding, ding.
I think the NHL's like, look, dude, you're an owner. You can't be, first of all, you shouldn't be mixing it up with fans. Second of all, you can't go into subjects that are, outside of the realm of hockey. Stick to hockey.
And probably shouldn't even be doing that.
Well, that's what I said. Don't maybe don't mix it up with the fans. Like, you can post and say you're happy, and
that's it.
But like, maybe don't get into the.
You cannot.
Rule number one: if you work in media or you're working in an area of the social media realm that we live in, don't read the comments. Always, just don't.
Yeah, that guy should know better than that. There's nobody around him that's like, dude, we got this. We're your team. We're taking care of it. Don't you get on here and start inflaming things.
Well, it obviously was something personal as opposed to something from the teams.
Sure, I understand that, but
yeah. But he's been suspended, an owner. I mean, he's a minority owner. He's not like one of the big top guys, but still, like, I own the team, and I can't say this. And no, you can't actually. Sports on Rock Mornings. We got the funeral portrait and jelly roll coming up in just a bit. RockMornings.com if you need anything.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Huh? Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Huh? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Mike. Huh? What day is it, Mike? Huh? Woo-hoo! Mike. Huh? What day is it, Mike? Huh? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me. Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is?
Hump Day.
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day! Woo-hoo!
It is, in fact, Hump Day, and that means Workforce Wednesday. We want to hook you up with freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shop in Preston.
And we want to know where you're working.
So click the website, rockmornings.com, and sign up and tell us where you're working. Indoors, outdoors, basements, sewers.
32-hour work week or a 40-hour work week or a 60-hour work week. Let us know what you're working. Let us know.
RockMornings.com. Head there for Workforce Wednesday. Sign up for date night while you're there. Check out the daily podcast. Give it a like and subscribe. Find all our contact info. Somebody who doesn't need our contact info is Cheryl. She texted in and said, hey, morning, Brian and Gene. How about some Nickelback for the hubby this morning for our 31st anniversary?
That is a long time and should be congratulated.
Happy anniversary to you guys. I'll get to your Nickelback here in a couple of minutes. Everybody's Live with John Mulaney on Netflix. His guest is Alanis Morissette.
Dude, I saw a TikTok interview with his wife yesterday. She's hilarious, too.
Mulaney's wife?
Yes.
Is she a comedian? Or
No, she's just funny, talking about their kids and her mother. And it was funny.
Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. ABC tonight. New episode of that featuring Rainn Wilson, Ellie Kemper, and Oscar Nunez. Also on Fox tonight, a new episode of America's Most Wanted, John Walsh's Dirty Dozen. The Dirty Dozen. Is that like his own
I don't know.
FBI Most Wanted list?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Over on Fox, after John Walsh's show, is a new TMZ Investigates what happened to Justin Bieber. Gene, you would know. You're a big Justin Bieber fan.
I don't know what happened. Well, I mean, there's all the, what happened with, it was P. Diddy, Well,
that, but was it Coachella like a couple weeks ago, and he was like all out of shape and drunk and high and looking weird, and people were concerned about him?
I don't know. Hasn't that sort of been a thing with him for
him and his famous girlfriend, wife lady? Yeah.
Mother of his children?
I have no idea, dude.
First Mother's Day. I don't know.
I don't think I could care less about Justin Bieber or his life. But there's a new TMZ Investigates on Fox tonight called What Happened to Justin Bieber. Meanwhile, Jeopardy Masters on ABC, round 5 of the 6 of the knockouts, and a new episode or new series on Netflix today premiering. It's called American Manhunt: Osama bin Laden.
Huh. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
This is a 3-part documentary about the hunt for Osama bin Laden after September 11th. It's called American Manhunt. Osama bin Laden. Netflix. Also new episodes of Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, and Chicago PD. Salma Hayek on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the swimsuit edition. Why wouldn't you, right? She's also going to be on with Fallon tonight, along with Mel B and Emil and the Sniffers.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next to the stage, Emil and the Sniffers.
I love it.
Nick Kroll and Emily Osment on with Stephen Colbert, Kimmels and Repeats, and Leslie Bibb will be on with Seth Meyers. So, yeah, that's what's on the boob tube tonight. I didn't really watch anything yesterday. I was busy with the lawn. We had a toilet get replaced yesterday. Half hour, guy was in and out of there. It's looking in grease.
All fixed?
Not fixed, replaced.
Functioning now. Everything's good. How do you break a toilet?
Well, I don't know. One Saturday I woke up a few weeks ago and I went down to the basement as my coffee was brewing. I got up and I went down to the basement to sit in the massage chair. And I heard a dripping sound. And I'm like, oh, God. And I hadn't turned the AC on. We had the same problem with the air conditioning years ago in our new home where there was a vortex and the humidity was getting sucked into the house while the air conditioning was running. And it was creating sweat and condensation on the ducts. And so it was leaking through the ceiling in the basement. This was, I turned on the lights, and there was water dripping from a light fixture that was above my bar, and it was hitting, like, the bar stool, and the carpet was noticeably wet, and there was plenty of water on the stool, so it had been happening for a while. And as I'm standing there, I'm thinking to myself, what's right above this? Well, it's either the sink, dishwasher, fridge combo.
Lots of things with water.
Because there's 3 things right there with water.
Stuff.
They all have water. And then
toilet.
But then there's a bathroom right next door to the kitchen, and so maybe it's the toilet. So I went back upstairs, looked around in the kitchen, didn't see any visible water on the floor. So then I went in the bathroom, and there was water on the floor underneath where the tank is. And I don't know diddly poo about toilets, and I'm not going to mess around.
This person did, though.
So I shut off the water and cleaned up all the water on the floor and took the light fixture out, let it dry out and everything like that. And called my guy and came over and took a look at it. He said, he's like, we could fix it. It would be expensive, or we'll just replace it and probably cost you less. And I said,
let's do that. Why wouldn't I want a new one if I could have one?
So, yeah.
Wrapping up the track season soon. Conferences on Saturday. So this was one of the last meets. Well, it was the last meet for us before conference on Saturday. So, and successful track meet up until there was lightning in the area. Yeah. And it never even rained, where we were, but at home. But at the meet, they were like, yeah, call it. It's good. Rain tomorrow. That's a thing. So if you've got outdoor activities, the kids got soccer, you're trying to wrap up the baseball
season.
Looks
like that's going to be in the late afternoon, though, I think.
It's happening.
That's going to be in the late afternoon, like after school. Right?
That's when all those activities are. Right. So keep an eye on that as things are going to be stormy tomorrow and then cooling off into the 60s, it looks like, for the weekend and most of next week.
Today and tomorrow looks like it's going to be pretty good, but then tomorrow afternoon into the evening and overnight looks like we could get some severe weather. Be on the lookout for that. We have a tournament, a golf outing that we do in La Crosse. We've done it for 10 years. This is actually our 10th year of doing it. It's called the Talk Birdie to Me. And it happens every year out of Valley High Golf Course. And there's, I think, 8 or 9 spots available if you want to go to roundrivercity.com and get signed up. It's a hell of a good time. 4-person team. Registration includes cart and golf, free beverage for each person on your team. There's a pizza buffet at the turn, and there's a brat at the end of the day. Plus, we got a shot to win a bunch of prizes. 18 holes, and it's a charity golf outing. It's not a tournament. So anybody who just wants to join us or wants to play some golf with us, that's on Friday, June 13th. And then the following Friday, we're doing the same damn thing on a shorter course and a 2-man scramble at Princeton Valley Golf Course in Eau Claire. It's the Talk Birdie to Me to benefit Project X and veterans organizations in Eau Claire. And it's on Friday, June 20th.
That's a 9 hole tournament
Yeah, that's a
or
scramble.
outing, if you will. A scramble, two-person teams, and again, cart and some goodies with your registration as well as your chance to win prizes. And so we're golfing in both areas, one on Friday the 13th, as we've been doing for a number of years, and then this exciting tournament, Talk Birdie in Eau Claire, on the following Friday.
You can sign up for that one and get more info online at 929thex.com. But Talk Birdie to me now in La Crosse and Eau Claire. Sign up online.
Super fun.
Yeah. Find out more on our respective websites. It's going to be a good time on Friday the 13th and then Friday the 20th. Right now, it's requested Nickelback. Cheryl and her hubby been married for 31 years.
Congratulations.
Happy
That is
31st anniversary. What do you get for somebody on the 31st anniversary?
Just some time together, I think.
Like a
Maybe
back
dinner
patch?
out.
Like one of those lidocaine back patches? What is it? One of those things?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Peace and quiet.
They have a farm, too. Plus, they both have 2 full-time jobs.
You get up early and feed the cows?
Yeah.
Instead of
That's all they do is work.
your hubby doing it? All right. Well, happy anniversary, you guys.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Take a look at your fingernails.
They're terrible.
Do you have paint on them or?
No, but I've been doing a lot. I mean, they're not. I never have very attractive ones, but I've been doing a lot of, power washing and dirt, digging in the dirt and all that stuff.
Do any of your fingernails have a brown spot underneath the nail, like on the skin underneath?
No.
Okay. Well, apparently, it's a sign that you could have melanoma, cancer. And a woman in Ohio says that a video on TikTok saved her life. She saw it while she was scrolling in February. There was a video that said a brown mark under your fingernail could be the sign of skin cancer. It turned out she had melanoma, hadn't spread. Her doctor at the Cleveland Clinic said her outcomes should be very good.
It is rare, and it's scary that it's rare because a lot of people would not think to check their nails. It started out as a tiny little brown line on the bottom of my nail. She recommended I go to the dermatologist, but being a mom and being a teacher, I put it on the back burner. I was scrolling on TikTok, and I happened to come across a dermatologist saying, if you see these signs on your nails, make sure you go see your doctor very quickly. And I was like, oh, well, this doesn't sound good. Please check everything. Don't put it off. Prevention is key.
So apparently she was reading a book, and her name is Lauren Kolch, and noticed she had this brown mark.
Right.
And wasn't
you guys
really,
are talking about that.
Wasn't a freckle, wasn't, like a indentation or, you know what I mean? It was just sort of...
Wasn't dirt, wasn't a sliver.
Yeah. Back in March, the entire nail had to be surgically removed after she was diagnosed with melanoma.
No way, really, huh?
Yeah, it was late last year, early last year in May, I guess. Started out as a tiny brown line on the bottom of my nail, and I was like, well, that's odd. Didn't think much of it. Then she was scrolling TikTok and saw a video where someone said basically like, hey, you see one of these things, go get it checked out. You never know what it could be.
Could be a variety of things, including some sort of, injury, finger trauma, fungal infections, melanoma.
Yeah.
Or a benign pigmentation, but it's crucial to have it checked out if you have those little spots under there. I see a picture of them now. I mean...
Yeah, typical of what most people would do in that situation. You just put it off because you're like, it's no big deal. There's no pain. Whatever. It's just...
Yes. I wouldn't even think of it.
Something weird, something funky.
It is a melanoma that is a serious type of cancer that develops under your nail. Commonly appears as dark brown or black streaks on your nail. Early detection and prompt treatment yield the best outcomes. So... I didn't even know that was a thing under nails.
I didn't know either. I had no idea, but yeah. Ended up scheduling an appointment. They did a biopsy, all that stuff. And
so take a look.
Ran some tests. And yeah, so it doesn't have to just be like a lump on the side of your head.
No, and some of them are dots. I'm looking at different examples. Some are on the side. Some are like
a line,
intense,
more like a line,
line, different ways. And don't just
freak out about everything. But maybe next time you're at the doctor's office, say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And
don't freak out about everything, but don't just dismiss things either.
Right.
That's just I don't know what that is, and I'm just gonna.
Have you ever thrown one of your pets a party?
Yes. I mean, with just like us and my best friend and her daughter, and
an excuse to drink wine and have cake.
And we're hats and take
funny
cute
hats?
pictures
Okay.
and give
Outfits
presents.
Okay. And maybe a new treat.
Yes.
Okay. Was it a birthday?
Yes.
All right. Well, there's. This was not a birthday. Is a quinceañera a birthday? I thought it was almost like a.
That's a 16th birthday.
Mazel tov.
16th birthday.
Is it a birthday or is it like a becoming a woman thing?
I think it's a birthday.
All right. There's a woman in Houston who threw a quinceañera for her cat, and apparently it ended up saving her local animal shelter. Her name is Miranda Gonzalez, and she spent a year planning her cat's 15th birthday.
15th, I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Which is a pretty big birthday. Along with a
cat.
quinceañera dress, a mariachi band showed up. Video of it all over TikTok. She asked people to donate to a shelter called Almost Home Cat Haven. It turned out they were looking at closing down. They didn't apparently get enough finances. They were having trouble. They were struggling. But thanks to all the donations that rolled in from her viral cat quinceañera, they're in great shape financially now.
I rescued Holly when she was 6 months old, and I had her before I had children. And she's really my firstborn. Celebrate my love for her, all donated to a rescue.
Every time I think that, okay, I don't know if I can keep doing this, some blessing will drop in. This time it was Miranda and her family.
She loved it. She really did.
Yeah, an elaborate quinceañera to celebrate Holly's 15th birthday.
Holly the cat.
Holly Marie Gonzalez, Miranda Gonzalez's cat daughter. Custom dressed mariachi band, remote controlled Bentley for the grand entrance. Oh yeah, have you seen it? Have you seen the video of this thing?
No, I haven't. But it's their coming of age party.
21 million views online. It's got a ton of views. And she asked people to donate to a struggling shelter.
And they were the benefit of this whole thing.
Yeah, Almost Home Cat Haven, local rescue organization. Housing more than 100 cats, relies entirely on donations to operate. And Dina Ulrich, who you heard there, the managing director, said the shelter had been on the verge of closing before Holly's quinceañera changed everything. She says, it's been a ride all week long. We have been blessed beyond. Every time I think I don't know if I can keep doing this, some blessing will drop in. And this time it was Miranda, her family, and Holly's blessed day she got to have. Yeah. Back on stable footing.
So when the cat turned 14, she's like, okay, if this cat makes it to 15, we're doing this thing. We're having this full blowout. We're going to do this,
I mean, look, cats tend to live a little bit longer than dogs, but, when you get into the teens, you're pushing it.
Yeah, and the family saying, we wanted to show the world how much love a rescue animal can bring to a family and how much, they can love that animal and that family member. Nice dress.
Got some highly suspect in a couple of minutes. RockMornings.com. Head there and sign up for Workforce Wednesday.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene, not paying attention.
We're good. Clouds are kind of breaking up a little bit with some blue sky up there. We'll have a mix of that today. And our last warm day as some storms move in tomorrow. Now, those we're going to want to keep our eye on. They could be severe throughout the region, so we'll watch that. We desperately need some rain, though, so that's good.
Yeah, I watered my lawn yesterday after I mowed it, and
farmers are planting and need some rain.
Definitely going to take a break from that today. I'm going to water the plants and all that stuff. But,
things cool off significantly then for the weekend and an early part of next week.
There's a new health hack that says that you can eat human dog food.
Human dog food? So it's
just a dumb phrase. It really isn't dog food. It's just... Look, your dog eats the same thing every day, every meal. It's kind of that. It's more about that than it is about
the dog food.
Kibble,
it's just
you know what I mean?
Yes, it's the same. It's repetitive.
Yeah,
repetitive.
Your dog occasionally might get a treat,
with a treat here or there,
or maybe you mix in an egg or something along those. Whatever the case might be. Maybe you stick in some leftover burger in their dinner or their kibble. But that's kind of what this new health hack is all about. And it's eating human dog food. A guy shared his meal prep hack where he basically minces up a bunch of vegetables, chops up some tofu and chicken, adding rice, cooks it all, almost like a stir fry, right?
Yeah, and then you make bowls out of it.
And then mixes it together and eats a bowl of it for every single meal. That's the part where it's a hack. Essentially, stir fry, lots of ingredients, chopped up so fine it looks more like something your dog would eat as opposed to like a traditional stir fry with big vegetables, big and bright. So some people are calling it human kibble or human dog food. Makes meal planning certainly a lot easier when you're eating the same meal
a lot of people
day in,
that
day
do
out.
that, where they on the weekend they'll cook a big thing and it will be some sort of bowls like
day.
that with vegetables and a protein, and it can be, done differently. But then they'll cook it on the weekend and they'll have 5 days worth of these for them or them and their kids or whatever. So that part, but it's not every meal, and it's not usually pureed like that either.
Yeah. It's easy because if you're going to try to be more militant about what you eat, then boiling 5 chicken breasts and cooking some rice on Sunday and then putting it all in Tupperware containers and taking it out of the freezer every day before you go to work. So you've got, you know what I mean? It's just...
Well, and I understand the health aspect of it too, because he's talking about no fat proteins and lots of veggies and high consumption. But I do not want to eat the same thing 3 meals a day every day.
No, I don't mind.
I'll have some repetitiveness.
Leftovers.
Leftovers for a few days, even.
Experts do say that there are some downsides. You'll probably get bored. Obviously, that's the number one thing, so you won't stick with it.
Immediately.
Plus, it sort of strips all the joy out of eating and cooking and preparing meals. Nutrient gaps as well is what experts say could be an issue with the whole human kibble thing.
Not a lot of people are doing this. This is just a few people that want to do that.
Even though
a lot of people.
Well, look, I think people, there's no denying that people struggle with weight and weight loss and staying healthy and trying to find, and sometimes it's a little trick like this that works for them. So people are willing to try all that stuff. So even if it's full of good stuff, it's the same stuff every day. The mix that you go with might not have all the vitamins and minerals you need, so it's generally better to have more variety in your diet. It could be a good hack for some of your meals. Again, maybe you eat normal for breakfast, or maybe you switch it up with
blueberries and a yogurt or something. But then
maybe that's your lunch.
It's your lunch, and then you're having something.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with some good Mediterranean or some fish for dinner or something like that. And plus, who doesn't want a cheeseburger once in a while?
I always want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But a new health hack, dog food, human dog food. Essentially just eating the same thing day in and day out for every meal. Boring. Sports coming up in a bit. Workforce Wednesday. Make sure you sign up online at rockmornings.com. Let us know where you're working for your chance to win those freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shop. Speaking of delicious lunch, they've got some stuff on the menu.
Variety.
There.
Delicious soup.
Lots of variety. Tom texted in, wanted to hear some Round and Round by Rat. I'll try to get to that in just a bit. Right now, Highly Suspect.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Highly Suspect on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Brew Crew losing again last night to the Guardians 2-0.
They had their number, didn't they? They lost all those.
Well, they got one more game today, the final game of the 3-game series today at 12:10. Then the Brewers come home for some much-needed home games because they've been struggling on the road, obviously. NBA last night, Pacers over the Cavs, 114-105. They advanced to the Eastern Conference finals, where they'll play the winner of the Knicks-Celtics series. And Oklahoma City over Denver last night, 112-105. They have a 3-2 series lead. Celtics-Knicks tonight, game 5 of that series. Celtics facing elimination. That's at 6 p.m. on TNT. And then the late game is Golden State and Minnesota. The Warriors also facing elimination. They're down 3-1. That game on TNT at about 8:30. Dallas over Winnipeg last night on the ice. Thanks to a 3-1 win, they now have 3-1 series lead. And on the ice tonight, you've got 2 games. Florida at Toronto at 6 p.m. on ESPN. That's game 5, series tied at 2 apiece. And then Edmonton at Vegas. Oilers are up 3-1. Vegas must win or they're eliminated. Vikings. They will become the first team in NFL history to play consecutive international games in different countries this season. Now, the NFL schedule doesn't officially get released until tonight, but we saw leaks.
These are leaks
all day yesterday. As part of their 2025 international games slate that was unveiled yesterday, the NFL said that the Vikings will play the Steelers on September 28th at Croke. I'm assuming it's Croke Park in Dublin, marking the league's first regular season game in Ireland. And then the Vikings will travel to England, where they'll take on the Browns at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium the following week on October 5th.
Huh. Well, I suppose once they're over in Europe,
kind of makes sense to stay there.
playing 2 games versus coming back home again?
The Jaguars have played a couple of games overseas, but never in 2 different countries on consecutive weeks. Some of the other games that the NFL made known yesterday.
Yes, what else? Tell me.
Obviously, the season opener we found out about, that's the Eagles and Cowboys, Thursday, September 4th in Philly. Eagles getting their banner, getting their rings, and then kicking the ass of the Cowboys. Christmas triple header, that's another big one, right? We just kind of got introduced to that recently. The NFL going to play 3 games on Christmas, kicks off at 1, then 4:25, and then 8:20. The night game will be in Kansas City. Broncos taking on the Chiefs. We don't know about the other 2 games. Chiefs will host the Eagles for a Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City. Date for that one not yet released. The NFC Championship game rematch between the Eagles and the Commanders. Talked to Grant Bills about that yesterday. They will face off, obviously, twice in the regular season. One of those games will be on Saturday afternoon in Week 16.
So there's a spattering of what you know today, but the full schedule tonight, and you'll know everybody's full away and home schedules as of tomorrow?
They did release all of the international games yesterday. Of course, we found out about the Eagles and the Packers, that Monday Night Football game, November 10th. There's a AFC Championship game rematch, which is always a good time. This is kind of like the Brady Manning rivalry now between Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Yep.
So Chiefs-Bills, they'll play in a regular season game in Buffalo. No date has been announced. And then we've got Thanksgiving and Black Friday games. Detroit and Dallas will once again host Thanksgiving games.
I would assume.
Eagles will host the Bears on Black Friday. A lot of Eagles on national TV, obviously. We're defending champs. And then, of course, the international games, as I mentioned, Vikings at Steelers in Dublin, Ireland on September 28th. The following week, Vikings and Browns in London at Tottenham Hotspur. The following week at the same stadium in London, Broncos, Jets. Then on the 19th of October, it's Rams, Jaguars at Wembley. The Falcons and Colts at Olympic Stadium in Berlin will be on the 9th. And then we're going south of the border, Commanders at Dolphins at Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid on the 16th of November. So
those London game or Dublin game, we have a lot of coworkers who are passionate Viking fans, and I could see them taking advantage of maybe here's
a chance to go to London for the first time, or Ireland.
We've got other people that we know that live in those areas too. We've got rock listeners Carl that's in London. I mean, that would be, you could see him and see a game and have a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I suppose, 50 years from now, no one will care, or few people will care that it happened after his death, but it looks like Pete Rose is...
I know, I was all over everything yesterday. This was happening. This was going to happen.
They should have done it when he was alive.
I agree.
They did this guy and his family. Look, he did his time, all that crap, but look, if you're a true baseball Hall of Fame, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and you have to say, look, a lot of these guys, especially in the early days of baseball, were not good human beings based on what today's standard is for a good human being.
Well, I don't even know.
It doesn't change the fact.
I don't think he even did anything as bad as...
But it doesn't change the fact that they were the best baseball players of all time. So they belong in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And now it looks like Pete Rose and maybe Shoeless Joe Jackson are going in as well.
I don't see much sense in putting me on the ballot after I die. Most of the people who rooted for me my whole career would love to see me in the Hall of Fame as a living player, not as someone who's 10 feet under. What good would it do my family if they put me in the Hall of Fame after I die? Because I'm the one that did the work. I'm the one that put the time in. I'm the one who was dedicated to the game of baseball. I was the one dedicated to my teammates and for the game of baseball in general. I tried to sell the game for my 24 years as a Major League Baseball player by going out there every day and busting my ass and trying to entertain the people.
That, of course, Pete Rose before he passed away. Mm-hmm. And yesterday in a sweeping decision, Commissioner Rob Manfred removing Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list. The all-time hit king, along with Shoeless Joe Jackson, both longtime baseball pariahs, stained by gambling, the Black Sox scandal back in the day. But seen as Major League Baseball as the mortal sin, now eligible for election into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Manfred said that the MLB's punishment of banned individuals essentially ends when they die. Quote, obviously a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game.
Okay, all right.
I hate this. I hate baseball for this. This is such a disgusting thing to me.
So he agreed at the time to a permanent ban, right?
Well, it was like 1989, permanent ban, and here we are, 40 years later, almost 40 years later, and it's like, you could have done this 5 years ago when the guy was alive. You know he belongs in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a stain on his mark. He's always going to carry that stain, like his family will, his name will. We know the story of it all. But come on, man. Put the guy in so he can at least get the round of applause before he dies. It's just disgusting to me that they would allow this to. And I can't reconcile it. I cannot. I find it despicable.
Now he's going to go in, which wasn't,
We'll see.
It's safe to put him in now because he's dead and he can't do any more damage.
These are voted on by other old-timey baseball writer people who are also dicks. So we'll see. Based on the current rules for players who last played more than 15 years ago, it appears the earliest that Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson could be enshrined would be summer of 2028 if they are elected. Again, the guy has the most hits in Major League Baseball history. He belongs in just simply for that alone.
Yeah.
If everything else was crap and he did illegal, what is the point of a Hall of Fame if the most famous players are not in there? It bugs.
And I think,
bugs me to know. If this was the Hall of Fame of good, really nice guys who gave back to the Make-A-Wish Foundation,
no, I mean, even
then,
if he had been found guilty of murdering someone, probably doesn't go into the Hall of Fame, right?
Well,
that's a horrific thing, but this is...
I can still see a place where he belongs in there with an asterisk, because it doesn't change the fact that he had the most hits in Major League, and he still does. I don't know. If the guy committed genocide, okay. I'll get, like mass murder, some sort of
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But he gambled on, it was wrong and it was and it was tough, but it just seems like worse things have happened and people have been able to continue their careers.
Agreed. But we'll see. It just happened yesterday, so we'll find out. But hopefully Pete Rose makes his way into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
For his family at this point.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to some, what do we got? Pop Evil in a couple minutes. Bad News, Happy Music later on. Going to talk about some red flags.
As in dating? Or as in employees? Or as
in general. Just kind of in general.
Friends?
Do that in just a couple minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Does it feel like it was like 10 years ago that we had the Riverfront Revolt with Pop Evil?
You mean January? Is that what you're trying to say?
Am I wrong? I was just thinking about that because I was like, when the hell was the last time I saw Pop Evil? And I'm like,
winter. It was
in January at the Lacrosse Center. And am I wrong that it feels like it was 10 years ago?
Like how long ago was January?
Yeah, I know it was only a stone's throw away, but...
Things are moving quick. Real fast.
Pop Evil. What remains? Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Get to the website, rockmornings.com, and sign up for Workforce Wednesday. Your chance to score freebies courtesy of the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shop in Preston. Let us know where you're working.
Please do. I like to hear from you.
Yeah, we always
it's
get...
cool to see where you're at.
We always get an occasional... Or not... That's kind of counteract contradictory there, but we tend to occasionally get someone working in a place that I've never heard of, doing a job I didn't even know existed.
That's exactly right. I
find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbies that are instant red flags.
Oh boy.
So obviously, I think we understand what a red flag is. You find out something about someone, some sort of personality trait or some sort of tick that they might have, and that's not in the sense that they've got a medical issue. Something
or that there's something wrong with them. Maybe it's just something to watch a little bit, maybe.
And I don't know if these are specifically for dating, but that tends to be, when you're going to really involve yourself in a relationship with someone, I mean, if you meet somebody and you're just going to be work buddies or whatever,
and they dress up as a cat on the weekends, you're fine.
Dungeons and Dragons dude or whatever, like, yeah, whatever. As long as he's not trying to like freak me out and
because
talks about other things, I don't really,
Is it the LARPers or whatever that they?
LARPers.
That's a whole community,
I gotta be honest,
man.
my viewpoint on that has changed a little bit.
It's kind of fun.
I don't know if it's fun, but I would like to try it once.
LARPing?
Like when I was a teenager.
So you dress up.
When I was a teenager, we had LARPers in Greeley Park, which is right around the corner from where I lived.
Live action role players?
Yes, and they had the whole thing. They had the styrofoam swords and the capes and the outfit. And this was in the 80s, man. This was in the late 80s, early 90s when I was a kid. And we would ride our bikes in the woods back behind Greeley Park. And you'd come out into Greeley Park, and then we had softball fields and tennis courts, and we had a stage, and we had
historical reenactments.
Huge, beautiful, and there was all these dorks out there doing dorks, and we're like, what the hell
But now
is this?
you're like, I could wear a night
back then,
outfit.
I don't even know if it had a name. I don't even know if they called it LARPing back then. But I remember vividly one time, me and my buddy Billy Hovey, he had just gotten his license and had a car, and we were driving by, and the LARPers had like put a bunch of their stuff, their styrofoam swords and stuff on the trunks of their car. And we're like sitting down having a little picnic in the grass. And we pulled up and we stole a bunch of their stuff and drove off.
Hey.
Yeah. But I would like to give it a shot.
But now you're like,
I don't know, because maybe taking out some aggression on some idiot, some dork, but you can't really hit them. You know what I mean? It's not really about beating people up. It's more about playing the battle.
Yes, executing the whatever it is.
But hobbies that might be an instant red flag.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Danger.
This one, I got to be honest. After watching so many documentaries about kids and getting abducted and kids getting, abused by beauty pageants, particularly children's. Anything kid pageant related, you people are crazy. I will stand on that hill and I will die on it.
I think if you're the parent,
it's all creepy. It's all creepy. There's nothing good about any of that stuff.
You could be the parent and they're really into it, and that's one thing. But if you're like if you're not involved with this
right,
child,
if you're just some guy like, I love going to child beauty pageant. Well, of course that's. But I think, look, I've watched enough documentaries to know that that's a breeding ground for some bad stuff. It's just icky. You're slapping all this makeup and swimsuits and bikinis on little girls.
Unless you're Little Miss Sunshine.
If it's, look, if the kid has a talent and they want to, but I don't know, dude, putting them in dresses and makeup and all that and putting them in front of adults and it's just got not a good feeling to it, man.
Is Cat Lady on there? Like having too many cats? Is that a hobby?
Next up, this is a Reddit poll, by the way. Somebody on Reddit asking people what's a instant red flag.
All right.
MLM work. Someone joked that it stands for Moms Losing Money. This is those, I have a job opportunity and email me and somebody gets $10 and it's multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
So it's
work from home and
people our age, it's what is it, Amway, right? So you would sell Amway and it's a pyramid scam, right? You would go and you'd have cleaning products and you go to someone's house.
Sure.
And if they signed up, that's how you got more money. And now it's these other, it's like, take this green drink and put it in your fizzy juice and blah, blah, blah. And it's a lot of that. Multi-level marketing. I don't even know if that's a hobby. That's
some people have that as a job then, right? And they try to recruit friends and family to do the same. Is that the part that's,
Another example of my life being completely out of control. When I was 19, 20 years old, I worked at a mobile gas station in Concord, New Hampshire. And the guy who was my boss, the manager, I worked overnights. And the guy who was my boss, his name was Bruce, and he was an Australian dude. Big, really nice guy, big bushy mustache. Said all the Australian, oh man, crikey.
Yeah. Interesting, fun to be around.
Right. So sometime after I had worked there for a while, he got promoted to be a regional manager. And so in the area where I lived, there was about 10 mobile gas stations that he was now in charge of. And he had moved, he and his wife moved out to Hampton Beach, which is right on the ocean. And so he got in touch with me and he's like, hey, dude, he's like, I got a new position that I want you to take, and I want you to come and live in Hampton Beach and work. That'll be your home store, the one in Hampton Beach. And what you'll do is you'll do relief at all these other stores. So if someone calls in sick or someone no-shows, they can call you, and you go and you fill in at their store. They got me a car. They got me a bag phone. I was 19, bro. I was rolling. I was living at the beach. It was awesome. It was like the greatest time of my life.
But
so I moved there. Everything's smooth. Everything's good. And then one day he's like, hey, wife and I are having a little housewarming. You want to come over and have and blah, blah. And I'm like, and I was telling a friend of mine, he's like, dude, they're going to try to bang you. They're going to try to swing with you. He wants you to come over. And
no, he wanted a multi-level market.
He tried to Amway me. I had no idea what it was. I walked in and we're having the dinner and he's like, yeah, and he busts out this box of cleaning products. I had no clue what was going on. I had never even heard of it. And then I texted my friend, or I called my friend and I'm like, and I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. He brought out all this soap and bath cleaners and all this crap. And his mom must have heard me. And she's like, don't go over there ever again. Don't talk to those people. It's a pyramid scam. It's crazy. I literally had no idea what was going on. I was 19. I was living at the beach.
That's some good soap there,
I had a car. I had a bag. I was living the life, man. Everything was good. And all of a sudden, they're trying to get me
come to the dark side.
Into Amway. Yeah. And they were like, it was cultish. I remember it vividly how jazzed up they were. His eyes lit up, and he's telling me about, oh man, this cleaning product's great. There's tubs and stains, and I'm like, I don't care, bro. I'm 19. I'm trying to get laid and make money.
That's the two things.
So another hobby that's an instant red flag, according to a Reddit poll, people who are into pranking. These are like the Mr. Beasts and Logan Pauls, and if that's your look, we enjoy a good prank. We've done a few, but if it's like the only thing you do, yeah, it can get weary. You know what I mean? Like I've had enough. I don't want to be looking around every corner. Jackass was funny, but I don't want to be participating in Jackass. Scratch lottery tickets.
Too many?
Apparently, I think, I don't even know if that's really a hobby. That's an addiction. As a person who has a gambling addiction.
I was just going to say, that's probably just
an addiction.
A red flag for a different reason. Maybe not as a hobby.
Yeah. CrossFit is another one. Those people can be a little cultish.
I don't know.
They can be a little cultish. This one is funny.
What?
A Reddit poll about hobbies that are instant red flags. And these are in no particular order. It's not like they're ranking them. But collecting taxidermy animals. The caveat here is obviously for those of us that live in a state that enjoys hunting.
Well,
if you're taxidermying your own animals that you killed and you ate,
fish and
right,
mounting those.
But if you're just going to a garage sale and you got a whole house full of this crap,
antique stores, garage sales, and you're just, oh look at it's a squirrel, oh look at it's a raccoon, oh look at it's.
I think the other issue with this one is that a lot of horror movies, there's some sort of weird trope that exists in some horror movies where you go into a room and the guy's just got a bunch of creepy animals that have been taxidermied.
Now,
and he ends up being like a psycho killer. So it's sort of, I think people have that maybe connection to it.
But there's also something charming about certain restaurants or bars that have a bunch of that.
You love it. Supper Club.
Great River Roadhouse has got a ton of animals and fish and stuff.
Turkey and quail and all that.
But maybe not at Bob's living room.
Yeah. Or all over the house. You know, like while you're in the bathroom trying to poop and there's like a, raccoon that's in there like, giving you one of these. Some of the other ones, being super into celebrities and their lives. This one's funny. Collecting Disney memorabilia. Someone said 2 Disney adults can be happy together and they shouldn't try to have relationships with normal people.
It's a magical place.
There was a episode of Hoarders where a lady had like a ton of these like Disney dolls, like the Barbie Disney dolls and stuff, like thousands of them. And they come over and, they go through your house and it wasn't so much that she had trash because a lot of them are just trashy and they're nasty and disgusting. This lady just had a bunch of Disney collectibles and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's not too bad. It's probably a lot of money.
Because you have too many collectibles.
It was like $500,000. They had a person come over and they're like, you got $500,000 worth of Disney collectibles in your house. And she sold a whole bunch of them and like kept a bunch.
Her.
But like that, and I was like, see, I'm like, it's not bad. You got to make sure you get the valuable stuff.
It's the red flag if it's Disney, but not if it's The Simpsons. Is that the deal?
Yeah, the rest are all kind of social media related. Somebody said a girl once told me her hobby was scrolling on TikTok. Another one is influencing.
It's okay.
I don't think influencing is a hobby, right? It's more people trying to make it a
career.
Job. Yeah.
Can be, or a revenue stream at the very least.
Somebody texted in and said vegans. Abso-effing-lutely 1,000% red flag.
It's not a hobby. That's a life choice. Not a hobby.
I don't know. Some people do it for the internet shine. They like the love they get on the internet for it. More than the health benefits, but Some red flags, dating, hobbies that are instant red flags. I would say anything that's extreme. Whatever it is. I collect some, but it's not the only thing I do.
No, I know.
I brew beer, I eat bacon, I
eat bacon. That's not a hobby, honey.
No, but I mean, I have a lot of other interests. I go to concerts. I like movies. I there's things I do. It's not the only thing that I'm about. But anybody that's like the Big Mac guy, right? I know it's not a hobby, but do you want to hang out with the Big Mac guy? The guy that's eating all the Big Macs? You want him to be your friend? You want to date that guy? Oh, here we go. Another Big Mac.
I think anything that's a little bit different in, like you're saying, in moderation, because we know some really interesting, ham radio guys or storm chasers.
But you can
or
also
whatever,
sit
yes.
down and have a normal conversation with them.
Correct.
And it was funny to be at a wedding, and he pulled out 9 cell phones, and each one of them was a weather app
for a different thing.
And I was like, all right, well, then we're doing this.
But then that's no different, I guess, than the girl who's really into horses. You know what I mean?
Oof, that girl.
Well,
I've
that's
been with-
what I'm
I've been
saying.
with that girl.
So there's extreme,
Yeah.
right?
The horse
It's really
girl.
into weather. He had 9 radios, Brian, and 8 antennas on his car. That's a little too much,
Who's
right?
worse, the horse girl or the pillow girl?
I don't know.
I would say the horse girl, because sometimes they try to be horses. The pillow girl just likes a lot of pillows.
Be horses.
They
They're
like
just
to
a
do
little-
galloping and stuff, and
Well, that's a whole nother thing. Now you're taking it to another level. Dude, he was at a wedding and he had 9.
I know, it was funny. It was hilarious. There was a storm.
That's a little too much.
There was a storm here in La Crosse, and we were in Mankato, and he pulls out 9 phones, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
That might be.
He's like, "I got to keep an eye on this. I'm tracking this storm," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
See, that'd be a red flag for me. That's a little too much. We're at a wedding.
Well,
Is
he
one
also likes
enough?
flapjacks. He didn't want to come in and fix the radio because he was eating some flapjacks. Whatever. Hobbies. Red flag hobbies. Rockmornings.com to get in touch with us if you want to chime in on that. While you're on the website, make sure that you also sign up for Workforce Wednesday. It's Lincoln Park.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
The saga of Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson gets deeper and deeper each and every day.
Now what?
And I'm here for it. I like the drama.
Please tell me there's more pictures of her dressed as a mermaid and him with a fishing rod
There
on
might be.
Instagram.
I don't follow her on
Please.
Instagram, but are you familiar with this theme music?
No.
Dancing with the Stars?
They're going to dance with the stars?
I don't think they are, but apparently she has been offered
Well, of course.
to be a cast member on Dancing with the Stars, which really is putting that word stars in quotation marks.
Always has, though.
Well, at least some of these people have actually done anything. The only thing she's done is Bill Belichick.
And she's the contestant for
She was a 3rd place winner in Maine.
Okay, whatever. That's a thing.
So let's
I think she was an
back that bus up a
influencer
little bit. Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has apparently been approached to take part in the next season of Dancing with the Stars. She, of course, household name, thanks to her relationship with Bill Belichick.
Isn't he finally saying things now like she doesn't have anything
We're
to do
getting
with
to the
it?
rest of that.
Okay,
Just
all right,
relax.
okay,
Reel it
all
in
right,
over there,
all right.
Beavis. ABC currently in the process of signing up celebrities for the 34th season of the show. Sources close to her, Jordan Hudson, have revealed that she has had the call but is unlikely to take part.
Why?
She has been asked to be in the next season of Dancing with the Stars. She likely will decline as it will be in the fall, the same time Bill will be coaching, and she wants to be there for him at UNC. Aww.
That's nice. She's giving him the support.
She's got to be around to control him. She can't leave him by himself. Someone could get in there and undo all the
stands. He's finally
undo
saying
all the work that
things.
she's done.
He's finally saying stuff.
Whatever Jordan would like to get into in front of or behind the cameras, she wants to do some shows in the hosting realm.
Mm-hmm.
She'd like to do a show like First Look if she had the chance. Do you remember, what was it, Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin, the guy from Coldplay?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they have a conscious uncoupling? Wasn't that what they called it when they broke up?
Yes.
Something stupid like that?
It was
something you'd never even heard of before? They made up their own breakup?
Right, they got a divorce.
I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know what the hell this is. I've never heard this before. But Jordan Hudson, continuing on this trail, says that she faced erasure of her identity amid the Bill Belichick romance and cheerleading withdrawal letter, or whatever the hell that means.
What did you just say?
Again, this is on people.com, so this is out of my real wheelhouse here. But
erasure.
In December, Jordan Hudson, the 24-year-old girlfriend of Bill Belichick, penned a letter of withdrawal to her cheer team due to her inability to prioritize it amid scheduling conflicts. Okay,
I get that. She quit.
Hudson apologized to her team for tolerating all the baggage and media attention that resulted from having me around. Not quite sure what the erasure thing is all about.
Yeah, she quit.
Well, erasure of her identity. I don't know. What the hell does that even mean?
Well, they took that off of her, I guess, what would you say, like your resume? They erased the fact that she was part of that team. But I don't know why you'd say it like that.
At times, I am sure to many of you, it may have felt that at some point this season, I was selfishly putting my needs above the needs of the team or of my teammates. She notes the perspective is not entirely correct. Her actions were not guided by selfishness. But she's a jar and a half, man. She's overflowing. That jar is overflowing. And last but not least, in the saga between Belichick and Jordan Hudson, Bill has apparently spoken to what?
No, I know he said he's going to keep her a little off to the side.
Well, he's spoken to the players. I mean, you got guys coming in that are well aware of this whole thing, and obviously it's in the news, and they're getting asked by people.
And you're their head coach. You came from the NFL.
You're the world famous Bill Belichick, and they're coming to be, play and learn from you and all that stuff.
Yes.
And their dads want to have you, have that on the resume. Played for Bill Belichick, helps you out in the future, but you got to talk to these kids about it because it's important to them. So Belichick has apparently addressed the team about the attention surrounding him and his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But he said the media reaction and social media fervor over their relationship is not a football issue. Bro, the wheels are going to fall off this bus real fast.
Didn't he say, though, that he was going to keep her off to the side, kind of like, hey, don't worry, she's not going to be part of your UNC experience. She'll be kind of off to the side.
Yeah, there she is on the field, directing traffic and putting microphones on people and in interviews and telling them what we're going to talk about and what we're not going to talk about.
Hey, guys, I know she's your
Getting
age.
the emails. We're getting all the emails. She's older than some of these guys. Belichick said in a SportsCenter interview from the ACC spring meetings yesterday, really off to the side. It's a personal relationship, and she doesn't have anything to do with football. This couldn't have gone worse for him.
I'm your coach. I'm your coach.
What a swing and a miss for this poor guy. This poor old bastard. I get it, dude. You want a young girlfriend. You want to have all
that much empathy for him.
Well, like he let it get too far. And now he's playing the real end game.
And Travis Kelce's reacting, and
they're all reacting.
Aaron Andrews is reacting, and
that comes too from him not saying anything. When you don't put, that's the great thing about Charles Barkley. You know where you stand with the guy. He'll speak his mind. He doesn't care. He'll say what he wants to say. And you'll get it straight from the cow's mouth,
Is Tom Brady making any statements about this
I think
yet?
Tom is respectful of and understands when you're uber famous and you have an uber famous relationship that people are going to want to know more about it. I mean, Tom went through that. He went through all of them. Bridget Moynihan, Tara Reid. I mean, you do the lineup.
Yeah. But
Giselle. I mean, Kim Kardashian. I mean, I think he had lunch with her. And then all of a sudden it was like they were maybe going to date. And then they had to make a joke about it at the roast. He maybe spent 10 minutes in the same room with her somewhere, and all of a sudden Tom Brady's banging Kim Kardashian.
But
this whole Belichick thing is just what a stain on his career. And I just, if he does actually end up coaching in the fall when this comes to fruition, if they don't win a bunch of games and get into it, I mean, look, everybody gets into a bowl game at this point. All you got to do is win like 6 games. But if they don't...
Like, if this isn't a great season for UNC...
It's going to look so bad. It's going to look so effing bad. And then you can see it coming, too. Like, there'll be the dumping, and then the book, and then the tour, and the media, and all the crap that happens for her. She'll use that to spring off into what... And, and then there's Bill. Like, well, I had some good sex for a while.
We'll see.
Made some
more
funny
mermaids,
photos for the intro.
more fish.
Made some funny internet photos.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
All right, Bad News, Happy Music is coming up in just a little bit. Right now, it is Green Day.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Now, this is in Australia, so laws and police and things may be a little different, so take that with a grain of salt.
Magistrate or something?
A guy in Australia wrongly arrested, not once, but twice, and also spent the night in jail.
Wrongly.
Over a stolen boat after an emergency dispatcher misspelled his name. Mark with a C. You ever seen that meme?
Mark with a C.
You go into the coffee shop, Starbucks. It's Mark, what's your name? We'll put on your cup. Mark with a C, and it comes out Cark, C-A-R-K. As opposed to Mark, M-A-R-C. Western Australian Corruption and Crime Commission blasting the actions of a police department in a report about 2 incidents involving a man named Mark Smith.
Sure, that's his name.
With a C. Name entered as Mark Smith with a K in the police system. A person called to report a man who was stealing a boat. About the same time, the alleged offender phoned the emergency services to report that he felt threatened by the boat owner and requested police assistance. This is in January of 23, so this is a couple years ago. The phone dispatcher apparently misspelled the alleged offender's name as Mark, M-A-R-K, attaching it to an outstanding breach of bail and arrest warrant for another person. When police arrived, they took statements from the pair, did not check the alleged offender's name or address, found he was in possession of a public transport smart rider card that belonged to someone else.
Seems like a thief because he's got...
not necessarily, yeah.
Because he's got a bus pass for somebody else.
Not a clear indication this guy was necessarily breaking the law, but something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Arrested on suspicion of stealing a boat, possessing a stolen smart rider card, and having an outstanding warrant. Taken back to the police station. The man saw his name written down incorrectly, tried to tell the officers. They did not check. He was not asked for any
identification?
To confirm any other details. Fingerprints taken, did not match the outstanding arrest warrant. So another step in the process here. Officers never confirmed the prints. And because of the outstanding warrant, which the guy had, police refused bail, spent him a night in lockup.
All right.
Yeah, so this guy now seeking help through the legal channels, but arrested twice, spent the night in jail over something he didn't do, just because his name was similar to some guy that actually did the crimes. Yeah, get my name right.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
This one is awful, and this will be the worst one that we have, but we'll cleanse our palate.
You're making a face.
It's not good.
Well, what kind of not good?
A large rat eating a child.
A live child?
Yes. Parents in South Carolina facing charges after police say their twin babies were found with rat bite marks on their bodies. Kayla and Justin Bearden, both 24, charged with 2 counts of unlawful conduct towards a child. Deputies responding to the home when the mother called 911 to report that their 6-month-old child was covered in blood. The sheriff's office said a, quote, large rat started eating the child.
Like they have a rat infestation or they have a pet rat?
When the deputies arrived, they found blood covering the baby girl and her bassinet. They said there were bite marks on her arms, the back of her head, ears,
oh my gosh,
and face. Baby immediately taken to a hospital. Investigators found the baby girl has a twin brother who also had bite marks on his feet. Deputies say the parents admitted that field rats have been an ongoing issue in their home for the last several months, but they still allowed the children to live there.
Big box of glue traps to help me deal with my excessive rat problem.
That is an excessive rat problem.
Deputies say the baby girl will remain in the hospital for several days as the case remains under investigation. The twins, as well as a third child, now in the custody of the Department of Social Services. Parents scheduled for a bond hearing.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. Yeah, I don't.
Like I said,
they were just being gnawed on?
Apparently. We'll cleanse
You're
our...
living with rats?
We'll cleanse our palate here.
And babies and rats?
Yeah, we'll cleanse our palate here. A Northern California town is dealing with a very mysterious situation where birds are apparently exploding.
Like flying through the air and then like they've been hit by a baseball?
No, that would be more fun. This one simply seems like there's a problem with one of the wires. And when they land on it,
a
little bit of
electrocuted?
little electrical current goes through and there's a pop.
It's a mystery. I think that's how we all feel. Is it's inexplicable.
Sounded like a firecracker, and a black, I think it was a starling, just plummeted to the ground.
Super traumatic to see this.
Feel like a BB gun doesn't make firecracker noise.
And I can't fathom somebody could be that accurate all the time.
I know where the sound is coming from, and it's coming from up on the pole.
That particular wire does sizzle and arc at times.
Okay, well, there's
like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a mystery, lady.
Well, let's just say for a while you're hearing popping, you're seeing birds flying around and ending up dead. And
they get near this thing that's sizzling and popping, and it's a wire. I don't think there's a mystery. They sound like they're getting zapped.
Residents of a neighborhood in Northern California say they have found multiple dead birds in their yards or on the street. Security cameras even recording one of the deaths of the birds, showing it falling to its death from a power line after a loud pop was captured in the footage. The mystery deepening on Monday when investigators released the results of the necropsies performed on two of the dead birds. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife confirming that it received two dead birds, a mourning dove and a European starling. Injuries consistent with trauma from a pellet gun, BB gun, or slingshot, not electrocution from power lines. However, the department noted that the exact cause of the trauma to all of those birds cannot be determined.
I don't know. Couldn't the injury from wayward electricity be the same as like a pellet gun?
Some residents alleging the power lines in the area that belong to the Pacific Gas and Electric Company have something to do with the birds and the deaths, have pled with the utility company to do something. But a spokesperson said that an investigation uncovered no evidence that its power lines are the culprit.
Yeah, but is there a problem with the power lines in general? Because maybe it's not the culprit, but that they sizzle and make noises and pop every once in a while feels like you need to do some repairs there.
Again, the wildlife people say that it looks like it was a pellet gun or maybe a slingshot of some sort, but they can't confirm.
It's a good shot.
Well, yeah.
With a slingshot.
Very accurate.
I'm Brian Fellow.
That bird is a liar.
I'm Brian Fellow.
He's starting to make me mad. He better shut up.
And then the power company does an investigation and says, not the power lines.
We're all good.
So we don't know what the hell's going on with these birds that keep dying.
You sold my dead bird to a blind kid? Lloyd, what do you... Petey didn't even have a head.
These birds apparently have their heads. They're just dead. And they've either been killed by BB guns or pellet guns or power lines or hand of God. Maybe they're just exploding because birds aren't real, right? Aren't they like some kind of drone technology?
Well, they're not running into glass, right? There's no invisible glass there that they're hitting and falling and dying.
I don't think so.
Hey. Yes. I want my bird. A bird?
You want a bird?
I want my bird.
Wants his bird. Good luck getting that bird. New Jersey. Authorities there raiding a massage parlor. Wonder why. suspected of being involved in prostitution and
No way.
money laundering.
Adam,
Apparently a very big success. The authorities there recovered more than $700,000, including $600,000 in cash that was sewn inside of a giant teddy bear.
they put all their money in a teddy bear?
Have it sitting in the corner. Makes like for a nice little addition to the office.
It just
cute little teddy bear hanging out over there. Big, giant, oversized one in the corner. Sitting
full
on
of cash.
And they just keep shoving cash. You didn't think the authorities might notice that in a massage parlor where you're trading sex for money, that a big, giant teddy bear might stand out? Like, why is there a big teddy bear?
They don't want to be claiming all of this and depositing it. So they're...
The manager of the place, 47-year-old Daniela Deleno, charged with first-degree money laundering, second-degree promoting organized street crime, third-degree promoting prostitution, and fourth-degree maintaining a house of prostitution. 4 other women between the ages of 26 and 45 also charged with prostitution. $600,000. That's pretty profitable.
$700,000 in a teddy bear.
Well, $600,000 in the teddy bear. The other $150,000 was somewhere else. Not bad. Last but not least, going to Louisiana.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah, he was in the Lowe's. What can Lowe's do for you? And
Was he?
And he was naked and he was lubed up and he was on his phone. What do you think he was doing, Gene?
Was he waiting to take a shower in one of the little fake bathrooms, like a? Because we've heard
trying to see if it actually works.
Yes. How's this bathtub? Is this comfy? These jets.
Slidell, Louisiana. Police responding to a call at a Lowe's parking lot. Showed up, found a naked man inside a display shed.
See?
Engaged in lewd behavior. Wasn't actually in the store. Was outside in the parking lot in one of the sheds.
This looks good. Shaded, closed.
No one will catch me in here. The call came at about 5 o'clock. Witness reported a naked male inside one of the store's outdoor tool sheds. Typically used to show customers various storage options for purchase.
Yeah, you've seen sheds before.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Officers arrived on the scene, began searching the line of sheds on display. Wasn't until the 4th or 5th shed they located the suspect, who was lying on his back, pants around his ankles, using an open container of Vaseline and an electric device, which while he allegedly masturbated. How do you allegedly masturbate? You either are or you aren't. There's no allegedly about it.
There's a lot of things that...
If I happen upon some guy in the middle of the street or in a shed in a Lowe's parking lot, I'm going to know one of two things. He's either A, masturbating, or B, not masturbating. It's pretty obvious.
He has all the precursors to it with the laying on the ground, pants down, lube.
He's got it all going on.
The sound of an electric device in the background. That all of those seem to feel like they're leading up to, yes, he is.
Taser drawn. Police say the officer ordered the man to pull up his pants, roll onto his stomach, and be handcuffed. The man complied without resistance. So was he in the mid of it, or was he done? Did he finish up and then he was like, whatever, I'm done, I'm good?
He understood the seriousness of being arrested, or there was police at the scene in the moment that this is going on.
Reportedly,
those sheds are just out there. You know what I mean? They're just in the parking lot, not being used.
Well, somebody was being nosy. You know what I mean? The guy, he found a spot where he thought he was going to have some privacy.
And he wanted to be out in public. That was part of his thing, but not in public.
Maybe he lives in public is the deal here. The man reportedly admitted to his actions, telling officers he was watching YouTube at the time. Booked on one count, or arrested on one count of obscenity, booked into jail. There's nothing good on YouTube to masturbate to.
Well, that's not true. Depends on what you're into. There could be a lot of good things. He was just looking for a place out of the sun. You know what I'm saying, Brian? We'll get a little shade, a little privacy, a little place to lay down.
There's no fun in the sun.
At that point, if his jaw's locked, it doesn't matter how lubed up it is. It doesn't matter how lubed up it is.
He was lubed up with that Vaseline, Gene.
He brought all his props and everything. He has a backpack full of goodies.
Some looky-loo, no do-gooder.
Now you got to look for sheds.
Wandering around in the parking lot at Lowe's looking for people that are whacking off.
They're all in the parking lot. They're practically a house with a door that locks, Brian. Practically.
Bad news, happy music on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Get to our daily check-ins, and we'll pick a winner for Workforce Wednesday after Guns N' Roses.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello?
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us.
Check.
We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Hit up the website, rockmornings.com, for all of our contact info. Check out the daily podcast. Give it a like and subscribe. And even listen to the show live at rockmornings.com. You can also sign up to win prizes like Workforce Wednesday. Your shot at freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shop in Preston. Our winner this week is?
Our winner is Patrick. And Patrick works on the weekends.
Okay.
Puts in long overtime or long weekend hours.
10-hour shifts or something like that?
Yeah, so gets most of the weekdays free and likes to spend it fishing or taking the bike for a ride. But then works on the weekends when other people have off. We also heard from Ann, who works from home. Brian Lindsay and the gang at X-Tech. X-Tech, rocking out to you guys this morning.
Z-Tech? Is it Z-Tech?
X-E-Tech.
Yeah, but I think it's Z-Tech.
Well, Brian and also his crew rocking out to us there this morning. It sounds like SL Contracting, driving dump truck and hauling dirt around Casson, Minnesota. That was from Lucas. So we heard from some people other places, but the winner today is Patrick, working weekends at Train.
Thank you very much, everybody who signed up. Appreciate it. Got an email from Pete, said, Brian, don't forget about Jailbreak by the boys from AC/DC. It's become one of my faves. Talking about High Voltage.
It's a great album.
Yeah. We would never forget about Jailbreak. Why you think we would? Jason texted in and said, Vaseline. Yeah, guy had some Vaseline in a shed in the parking lot of a Lowe's.
Little tub of Vaseline.
With his pants around his ankles. We were talking about red flags. And somebody texted in and said, vegans, abso-effing-lutely 1,000% red flag. Jacob texted in, what about the red flag hobby of collecting card games like Pokemon?
I wondered about that. I was waiting for your Go Pokemon on the list.
Again, I think if it's done to excess. Look, if you go and I got friends that do Go Pokemon and they just, it's a thing and they do it, whatever.
They go to the park and they're there.
But they're not like the guy with the 90 phones on his bike. That's red flag.
He had 9 cell phones and 8 antennas tracking weather, and that wasn't a problem, and you're at a wedding.
It was funny. It was like a prop comic, and he busts out all his props.
Here's another one. Jamie
texted in earlier and said that Madrid is not south of the border. I know. I misread it. I originally said, in my brain, I read it as Mexico. And so I was like, oh, south of the border. And then when I got to Madrid, I was like, you idiot. Trust me. I'm well aware of where Madrid, Spain is.
Thank you, though. That's good information. Thanks for listening so closely.
And happy anniversary again to Cheryl and her husband. 31 years. She wanted at Nickelback earlier. We did that.
Maybe some nice pasta and a bottle of wine tonight for dinner.
Maybe a seafood paella.
They're not going to have that. It's too complicated for Wednesday night? No. Get out of here.
Apparently no one's going to ever have seafood paella.
No, they're not.
Thanks for listening. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.